But I want to start off this meeting by making a quick intro to let's say an old friend, Matt Sweetwood here.
Very old, very old.
Very old. So let me just tell you a little bit about Matt, everybody. So Matt's actually my very first customer. And he didn't even know this until I told him, like, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. But I vividly remember walking into his business at Unique Photo, and I was with another one of my peers. And I was kind of like maybe 2 months into T-Mobile at the time and just kind of learning the ropes. And Matt, fortunate for me, was willing to trust me. And I guess I made a good impression. He stayed a customer for a long time. Not only that, but at some point, Matt and his business actually opened up a mini T-Mobile store inside their own business. I think, I don't know how long that lasted, but I know it's at least for a few years. And then Matt moved on to a few other things. I would classify Matt as a serial entrepreneur, if you will. And right now working on a really, really cool business now that he lives down in Florida that caters to the luxury market. And more importantly, Matt is a branding specialist, someone who helps companies build their brands, helps with their social influencing, and spends time on numerous media outlets, whether it's Fox, CBS, NBC, contributing to a variety of different things. And so I thought it'd be really cool to have Matt on here, not only as a first customer
Call.
ever, because wow, who is that? Not only because he was my first customer, but because, in changing times like this, where we're trying to come out of COVID, he probably can help us understand a little bit what businesses are about to go through and how we can kind of pivot ourselves to accommodate. So Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you. I really appreciate you giving us some of your time here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So good morning, T-Mobile, right? And Jamie, I really thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I really hope I can get everybody wired up on a Monday morning. I know it's been a rough road there in New Jersey. Here, you know what I want to do? Let me share my screen right now and make sure we can all, since I've never done this, there we go. Let's do that. Okay. Does everybody see my screen? Wave, somebody wave.
We got it.
We got it. Okay. Good deal. Excellent. So, that first customer story, I really like that. I think that's amazing. So I want your team to most importantly know that everything successful you've done in your career is really due to me. Okay. I just want to state that for the record so they actually know that. Right.
Absolutely.
You have to admit that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, who expected 2020 to go like this, right? A worldwide pandemic, unprecedented disruptions, and most importantly for you guys in sales, really all leading to an unprecedented shutdown, a downturn in business. Who's in pain, right? Who's in pain over this, right? Both hands up, exactly. So, my story, my New Jersey story, New Jersey 50 years, starts with internal pain. Pain that woke me up every day for a period of years, putting my feet on the floor each day and feeling dread. Can you imagine every day for years, I was feeling dread. And what I was feeling, getting up, I looked in the bathroom, looking in the mirror and seeing my blonde hair. Those of you that didn't see me, that blonde hair, well, it was disappearing back then. It's gone now. I was morbidly overweight at 300 pounds on a 5'10" frame and getting heavier every day. I was a guy who was in my 30s, mid-30s then. When you looked from the outside, you saw a pretty and smart blonde wife, 5 adorable blonde-haired kids. I had a big house in the suburbs. Yep, and that's actually my house you're looking at in Short Hills. It actually is up behind the Short Hills Mall. Great piece of property there. I was a successful entrepreneur. I ran a company with 100 employees. I think, Jamie, I don't know, did you come see me in Florham Park or Fairfield? I don't remember.
Florham Park was where I sold you at, which is now I think PCS Wireless actually occupies that building, which is one.
I sold the building to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of ironic, right? Sold the building to them. So I loved my life. or should I say, I loved the idea of my life. You see, it was all a facade. Inside that business was a photography industry that was being massively disrupted by digital technology, the Amazon, and the internet. And inside that home, be ready for it, was anything but love, happiness, or contentment. My wife, who was an attractive woman on the outside, was really troubled and confused on the inside. And me, I'm just some New Jersey schmuck coming home every day from work, working my ass off for, creating a business that was having challenges and it was on the edge of going bust, always seemingly about 30 days away from having no cash flow and only 30 days away from not making payroll. Now, so let's look at my life right at that moment. I had a wife on the edge, a business on the edge. There were 100 lives at work depending on my decisions, and 5 little kids at home depending on me to bring home the bacon and make that house somehow a happy house. Now, I remember the day my wife, the mother of our 5 kids, finally walked out, screaming at the top of her lungs at me with a look on her face that could melt stone. She goes to me, "You and your kids are horrible human beings, and I hope I never see you fat piece of shit again." All in front of hysterically crying, scared little children. Now, I know that's a shocking Monday morning story, but it illustrates the point. I remember 25 years ago like that, like it just happened. I stood there, I was paralyzed like a stone myself. I remember just standing there like the air comes out of you, couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. Children's crying seems to blur into the background. My thoughts went to my dying business, my 5 little children, and at that time they were 18 months to 8 years old. Imagine one of them still in diapers, who just lost their mom and whose 35-year-old, 300-pound dad with a failing business had no clue what to do. So, needless to say, I was afraid, I was confused, but most of all, completely alone. So that was my story. Now, what's beautiful about Jamie inviting me to be with you today is that I get to speak to you and unpack some of what my own personal life lessons were and business lessons were that helped me not just get through something like one of the most devastating times I've ever lived through, but find big success. Okay, so I thank God for that success every day. And I venture to say that my kids now are all successful adults. That's them. You're looking at them. This is a good moment because I get to show my kids, right? It's a great talk. I always get to show my kids in this. All having graduated top colleges, and they're most importantly, for any of you who have older kids, they're financially independent. And that business that almost failed, probably almost failed 3 times, became a $100 million company that I got to successfully exit and now live in sunny Miami, doing something cool. And when Jamie asked me to speak to today, I thought about the 30 years I've been in business, and I try to find 3 of the most important tips for troubled times that I can share with you. So you've heard the expression, "This too shall pass." It's biblical, it's a meme, but in reality, it only happens when you make it happen. See, COVID will pass, business being shut will pass, but you only come out of it ahead if you want success badly enough. Now, I had 5 little kids depending on me, 100 employees depending on me, big bills to pay. I wanted my kids in the business to succeed badly enough. And so to do whatever it took to make it happen. That meant sometimes working 16 hours a day and 7 days a week, reinventing my business, which I did several times, and figuring out how to be a real parent step by step. First, I got them to brush their teeth, then do their homework, then build their self-esteem, then get them through high school, their driving test, and then into and through college. So my advice to you is if you want this period to pass with you more successful, just ask yourself how badly you want it. Think about that deeply, right? You can make anything you want happen if you want it badly enough. If you want to make sales, ask yourself how badly you want it, and then do anything and everything you can ethically and legally to make it happen. Think about that. Do you really want it bad enough? Be proactive. Anticipate where things are going to go and act. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make during troubled times is they freeze and they don't do anything. The key to success here is to try to be aggressive and try to anticipate where things are going to go and end up. So in my current company, which is Lux Now, we're a peer-to-peer marketplace for luxury autos, homes, and yachts. Think like Airbnb for luxury. We're really cool company. I looked at how my team was operating. I sensed that even though they said they might not close non-essential businesses, you remember that period back in the beginning of March where nobody kind of knew what was going on, okay? I looked at how my team was operating and I said, wait. My gut told me, said, I think, what if they close businesses, right? What if they're closed for a long period of time? We're not ready for anything. So I acted right away. I moved this out of our facility. And of course, soon after, the mayor, governor, whatever, shut everything down. But by then, my staff was 100% set up at home. All our tech was working. We had communications were working. We had meetings just like this if we were going to operate our company forever from our home locations. Now, I know I'm a bit older since Jamie established that in the very beginning than most of you guys, okay? I have a lot of experience, but I didn't use a crystal ball. I just went with my gut instinct. And that's what I'm telling you to do. Go with your gut instinct. Try to anticipate where things go, okay? As salespeople, just because there's a disruption right now, less business, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and reach out to your customers and your clients and see if there's any way you can help them, specifically outside of sales. I'll repeat that. Go see if you can help them in a way that isn't related to sales. That's a way of touching the customer, keeping the relationship going. And if you do that, I promise you, they'll remember you always, right? And then when business picks up, you're going to be the guy they come to. You should look for businesses that are actually prospering during this disaster, right? That normally we wouldn't go to or we wouldn't think of and attack them, right? I bet if I went through all of you right now, one by one, you can come up with a business that is actually prospering during this time. And conversely, right, if a business is never going to reopen, and unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of those, it doesn't make sense to keep going after them. I know that's a duh, but really think about it, right? Sometimes you have a good customer, very painful that they've left, but just don't waste your time or energy. And this is a little bit of a personal part of this, right? Be personally proactive. Watch your own expenses. It's likely to come down, right, if it hasn't already. And just don't make believe like nothing's going to happen, or worse, right? This is worse. Think you'll make it up later. You take aggressive action so that you're not under needless financial stress. Because there's nothing worse than a big credit card bill you can't pay, or a spouse at home disappointed in you, or from a sales perspective, your clients smelling your commission breath. So if you haven't properly reduced your expenses already, it's not too late to start now. Sales will eventually ramp up, but that may not happen for a while. Okay, my final golden nugget for today, maybe a little bit of a surprise. No, that's not a self-portrait, by the way, just letting you all know. Okay, it's physical conditioning. Okay. You're all forced to be inside, right? This is Jersey, right? You guys are still, I don't even know if you're in phase 1 yet or whatever. We had winter, quarantine, less walking and moving around, more at home eating, more burning, less calories, right? Not doing what it does to really keep yourself in shape. Now you might ask, like, what does that have to do with sales? Physical conditioning is the foundation for emotional and mental strength. Okay, I think it's so important. I'm going to say it again. Physical conditioning is the foundation for emotional and mental strength. I was 300 pounds when all of that stuff I mentioned previously happened. And there was no way I was going to find the energy and strength to take care of all of that. Work 16 hours a day, make the tough decisions, and deal with the enormous stress that I'm under and that we're all under. So I did the really hard thing of losing 100 pounds, getting myself in shape, and being in shape gave me my mojo. You know when you're in shape, right? You feel stronger in every way. It gave me the confidence I needed to be successful, and it will for you too. And of course, live and enjoy my grandchildren. This is the moment where I get to put my grandchild in the talk. Okay. You're watching a Sunday NFL game. It's Jets versus Giants. Now, we know they both kind of suck. The game is like 10-10 in the middle of the fourth quarter. But the Jets played a tough game on Thursday against the Dolphins the week before. So we see the Jets start to tire physically first. How do we know that? Ironically, it isn't that they start getting outplayed, not at first. It's that all of a sudden they take a stupid penalty. They miss a coverage assignment, or they just forget the play call. And the same thing applies in business. You want to be ready for anything, mean and lean and clear thinking when the bad stuff comes to an end. Well, there's no better way to do it than put yourself in good physical health. Just do it. Okay. Everything I told you today, you probably knew, at least in your own heart. But I do hope you realize that everything I suggested to you to do today is within your control. It's up to you. So even when events are crazy and out of your control, you can still take positive steps to make things happen. It's just a question of how badly do you want it? Okay. I want to thank you all for listening to my talk today. Jamie has a copy of my book, Leader of the Pack. Right, Jamie? You got that over there? Okay. I hope you got it already.
I got it. It came in on Friday.
It came on Friday, and he's going to get that copy to you. And you can feel everybody on this talk. I can't see all of you because of the way it works, but please feel free to reach out to me. If you want any suggestions, you want any help, you can follow me on Twitter. Please follow me on LinkedIn or even Facebook. I always answer people's questions, and I love hearing from everybody. Thanks again, Jamie. I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, Matt, I really appreciate you sharing your story of perseverance and maybe talking us through a little bit about, how you've kind of achieved your personal goals through all this. One thing I want to say to everybody is, look, the physical part of strength building to get more mentally tough, that's, of course, it's on you and the time you have and outside of work, but one thing that we've tried to accomplish throughout all of this, from a distance, is to try and stay mentally sharp. And that's why, we talk about the axe sharpening with the role play trainings and the storytelling trainings. It's all to keep you in a really good state of mind mentally. And I hope that all of you appreciate all that, right? Because it's not to punish all of you by putting you through relentless role plays and stuff. It's really because, however many times we go through this remotely, you're probably going to face the same conversation once you get back in front of customers. And it's really all about, staying, I guess, physically and mentally fit, similar to what Matt is talking about.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions out there? I'm here to answer if somebody has something they want to know.
I'm gonna actually ask you a question that maybe other people are thinking. Maybe they're not, but I'm gonna ask anyway. So, you've started a bunch of businesses or been a part of launches of several businesses. Where do you get your ideas from?
That's a great question. So the answer is it's just being out there. If you sort of sit in front of your TV at home and you hope that some amazing idea is going to come to you, it doesn't. So when I came to Florida, I moved to Florida about 9-10 months ago. I had lived in Jersey most of my life. I moved into the city because I had business in the city. I was on a lot of media. I was running consulting business and so on. I moved to Florida. What I did was I reached out, actually, I did a little LinkedIn work, and I reached out to 100 business owners. They were actually startup business owners. I wrote them an email, said, hey, this is who I am, like one paragraph, this is who I am. Can I help you in any way, right? And that's a fundamental, right? So that's actually at the heart of the question, is if you want to figure out what to do next, figure out how you can help other people. So I reached out to them and said, hey, can I help you in any way? I ended up having literally dozens and dozens of conversations, and this business came across my way. This Lux Now business, which had founders but needed a CEO, needed an operator for the business. So the answer is to really get out there and interact with people and really just talk the talk, network. And that can be online networking, it can be in-person networking, and stuff will come your way. Ideas will come your way. best way to do it. Works, and I've advised other people, I've consulted other people and coached other people, and it works 100% of the time. So if you're looking for opportunity, it's really about getting out there, connecting with people, and asking them how you can help them.
That's pretty awesome. And I guess that really kind of can relate to everything that we do, right? I mean, if we took that same approach to, through LinkedIn and email, just asking how we can help, probably will get more responses than an email about trying to sell somebody.
That's right. I'm a person, I've run businesses, so I have people that trying to sell me all the time. And that line that I talked about with commission breath, I can't express how it's such a turnoff. When a person feels that you're seeing them for your benefit, look, I don't want to be, like fake about this. Everybody knows you're earning a salary, you're earning commission, you're doing all of that. But you have to make them feel like that you're on both sides, right? And a lot of times salespeople come in and they underestimate the business owner, where they just not thinking about what they're doing. And they come in and they come across as really being selfish ultimately, right? I just know you want to make the sale and you're going to say basically anything to make the sale. And that really is a turnoff. It's just a huge turnoff, because it's not because it's like offensive. It's because that person's not going to be there for you. You want to convey to your clients that you care about them. And the way you show you care about them is actually going above and beyond, sort of outside the sales cycle. I've had people call on me, and I've rejected them, and then they've done something meaningful, right? They've done something meaningful, and they're really gracious about it. Okay, I understand, not now. Can I come back? Can I do this? And then sure enough, they've done something and I've taken them in. So I think being authentic, being caring outside the just, I need to make this sale, I think is really one of the most important aspects of relationship building and likely to land the customer. It also puts you in a position where if somebody else walks in with a slightly better deal, and I know we're talking about the mobile business, this can happen, this is the nature of the business. You want to have a relationship with that customer so that he feels pain if he leaves you. And if you show that you care about him, he most likely will feel pain and not leave you when things are just slightly different.
Good stuff. Any questions for Matt before we part ways here?
Hey Matt, how you doing? This is Tom.
Hey Tom.
Hey, just like personally, I'm just relating to what you said about being in shape and more energy and this and that. And I've gone from being in shape to not in shape, back and forth a few times.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I notice not only physical, but I feel like I'm smarter when I'm more in shape. So I was wondering what you felt about that. You lost a lot more weight than I ever went up and down. But I did a juice fast once where I didn't, I just put all vegetable juice, in me for about a week and a half or so. And I swear I felt like, things I couldn't figure out were easy to figure out then. And, I just had command of problems that were a little bit, cloudy. So I wanted to see what you thought about that with your loss. And
I completely agree with that. You've heard people talk about if you go gluten-free, I'm not trying to give you diet advice. I'm not doing that. But I think that when you work and you find what works for you, I agree completely. I feel I'm at my strongest in business. That was the point of what I'm making when I'm physically strong. You feel like you're in command because you gain command of your body. It's like I talk a lot about organization. I didn't do it in this particular talk, but I talk a lot about organization. And I always say that if you want to be an organized person, start with cleaning your room, right? Because it sort of starts at home. So if you start with strength, your inner strength, that physical strength, of course you're going to be more mentally strong. You don't get tired as easily. You can stay longer. Attention span is better. All of those things are better. The only advice that I would give you over my long years of fighting with weight and fighting to keep myself in shape is, is try to find something that you can do all the time. You can just keep to a program. Like a juice fast is a temporary thing, and that's a great way to get yourself going. But after that, you have to kind of figure out how I'm going to live the rest of my life, be comfortable, right? Because you can't diet your whole life. So you have to find a lifestyle that keeps you strong. You will also find that the longer you're stronger, oh, I like this, it's starting off good. The longer you're stronger, the stronger you'll be. So if you keep going up and down, it's good. You get up, you get strong, everything is good. But if you can keep that level and say, like for me, I was overweight for years and years and years. I was the pudgy kid in school, and it just got worse in college, and it just got worse. So I've been, sort of like people who've had drug addiction problems. I can say that, 5 years or 7 years straight. And each year that goes by me, behind me, makes me stronger overall and makes me more confident. So yeah, you will be more mentally strong. I promise you, if you put yourself in physical shape, you'll be more energetic to go do sales. You'll more clearly see and plan and do all of those things. It's a great point. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Hey, Matt, this is Eric. I have a real quick question for you. We're all in sales here, and our main objective a lot of times on a daily basis is trying to get through to the business owner. Being the business owner, do you have any tips on what we could say or do or not say to get through to the person we're trying to reach?
Yeah, I think that once again, I think that if you begin with how can I help you, right? If you sometimes say, look, I don't have to leave here with a sale. I'm not here to try to help. I'm here just to try to help you. I think that's a great way. I think also, just from a tactical perspective, trying to determine the best way to get at somebody. I know that if you call me on the phone, I have no patience for you. I don't. I can't speak to you on the phone. I got too much stuff going on. I want to see from you what you've got to offer kind of in my own space. Then if I'm interested, I'll call you and I'll actually interact with you. But that's me, right? So one of the tips that I would say is really try to find how a customer likes to interact. Maybe it might be speaking to somebody, like let's say they're in a retail establishment. You could ask them how the manager usually likes to get a sales call. Does he like it in person? Does he like it email? Does he like it in a regular mail? Does he want a singing telegram? Whatever. And I think that technique actually starts off in the right way. Because I know that when someone calls me and I look at that phone, I'm busy, right? I'm busy, and the call, and I know who it is, I dread it. So for me, I like someone when they send me an email with some basic information, I can then have a little conversation in email. And then if I want to speak to them, or see them, I can see them. So that would be tip number one. But I also think that you have to spend a significant amount of the sales cycle really trying to understand the customer and understand how you can help them, right? That's a really important part. So it's that line of communication. What's the best way? I can't emphasize that enough. The best way, finding that best way makes all the difference. And then obviously reaching out to them with a message that isn't, once again, about, I've got this, it's for sale, this is the price, do you need it? It's got to be more of like a solutions approach or a caring approach, and that's very specific to each customer. The other thing too, the third thing I'll tell you is that I think it sometimes works, and it's not all the time, I want to be straight with you because some people don't like it, but I think that understanding the customer on a personal level and having a personal connection to them helps. It's the hardest thing to do because we know you're in sales, so we kind of try to keep you a little bit at bay. But if you can find any way to establish a personal connection, or do something for them that connects you on a personal level, it's really a good technique. But be authentic, right? You can always smell when somebody's trying to suck up to you and try to, hey, I see that Devils thing, New Jersey Devils thing on your desk. I like the Devils too. They're cool. That's not really what I mean. I mean, sort of trying to get in a little deeper and trying to connect with, human to human. Humans buy from humans. They don't buy from companies. Just remember that.
Thank you.
Sure.
That's awesome. Well, we're up against time a little bit here. Matt, I appreciate you so much. I'm going to be sending this to you. You're becoming an honorary member of Team Alpha. That is our little sales organization here in New York, New Jersey. So this
I am honored. I will wear it with honor.
This one deserves to be in a frame. It's so good. But of course you could wear it. Matt, thank you so much. Appreciate, you always being there for me for advice. I read all of your articles on Twitter, very insightful stuff. Again, I recommend that everybody follow Matt on Twitter, connect with him on LinkedIn. He's verified on there, so his stuff is good and he's the real deal. And, he's, again, his publications are all over the place. So lots of insightful stuff. All right, Matt.
What's your Twitter again, Matt?
M Sweetwood, MSWEETWOOD. Here, wait, I can show you. You can just see it right here, right there. If you guys look, that's me. You look on the bottom there, or you can just go to my website, one of those things. Everybody got it? Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you again. Everybody, good selling. Go out there and kick some ass.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.